Yeah, good morning. Here we are. Good day. This year. Refuah Shleimus before we start.
Baruch ben Yamin ben Rachel Blima, Shoshana bas Hana, Yehudis Golda bas Aliza Hana, and Hava Daniela bas Naomi Hana.
Refuah Shleima to all of them. Korev.
Or Rachel bat Miriam Chava.
Refuah Shleima b'Korev. Wow.
Miriam Esther bat Shulamit.
Miriam Esther bat Shulamit. Refuah Shleima b'Korev.
Amen.
So, of course, the year is Rosh Hashanah Ani Hashem Rafa'echa, right? Aleph Yud Yud Resh. Ani Hashem, I am God who heals. So, Refuah bekaflayim, as they say, double, double. Our own refuah shleimas and the power of God who's healing. There should certainly be refuahs to all of them. Hayom Aleph. Aleph. By this year. Okay. At a Farbringen during this days of Sfira, says in sometime in the year 56.
2 days Rosh Chodesh.
So you want to do 2 days of Hayom?
No, Nisan. No, today is the 30th of Nisan.
Right. Not the first of the year.
Okay. Good. The following Farbringen should take place in, this is 30 Nisan. The following Farbringen should take place in Shul, the Farbringens of Sudas Lishis on Shabbos Mevorkim, and the holidays such as Rosh Chodesh and festive days of Anash, of the Chabad Chassidim. Those should take place in shuls. The Farbringens of Melava Malka should be held in private homes of each and every one of us. Melava Malka, big, big deal, especially in Chabad. Well, I shouldn't say especially in Chabad, especially amongst Chassidim. Okay, so now back to our Farbringen. In 5651, 5653, someone said to my father, someone said to the Rebbe Rasha, the following quote, the Alter Rebbe's Chassidim were always keeping count. My father took a great liking to the saying, and he commented, the idea characterizes man's avodah, counting. The hours must be counted hours, meaning significant hours, giving significance to everything, that the days will be counted days, in order that all the days will be significant or counted. When a day passes, one should know what he has accomplished. We make a cheshbon, right? We make a cheshbon on nefesh. It's accounting. Literally, a cheshbon is an accounting. A storekeeper makes a cheshbon. He does an accounting of his profit and loss or his in and out. So we should do that at the each and every day. We should make a cheshbon and know what we have accomplished and what remains yet to be done. And in general, one should always see to it that tomorrow should be much better than today. A great way to live. I advise it, or he advises it. Okay. Back to our story of love, the book of love. That's the section that we used to read. The story of love. Lessons in Tanya, page 661. Am I right? No, if I'm off in the beginning, I might be off here. Yeah, I am off. So today is Lamed, right? Okay. So we are here on page in the Likutei Moharan on page 126, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down, and I didn't give you then the right reference in Lessons in Tanya. Does anybody have it handy? Lamed. Yeah, Lamed is page 657 is Lamed of this month. Okay, Lamed Nisan, the Af. Okay, just quick review. two general levels of love, Avas Oilam, Ava Rabba, or which is also called Ava B'Tainugim, the love of delights, and remind ourselves it's called Tainugim, which is delight. It's not our delight, it's giving delight to Hashem. That's the Ava Rabba, where we completely, as I've been kind of metaphorically saying, dissolve into wanting only what's good for him and what he wants. Avas Oilam, the love that comes from contemplating, as it says, the world, the underlying presence of God in the world, in all matter. World meaning even the matter, the substrata of everything, just the nucleus and atomic structure of everything. And then we spoke about a love which rises above a third level of love, which divides into two. The love of Hashem because he is your life, he's our life, and the love of Hashem which comes from the realization that we are his children, the innate love between a parent and child. And even if it appears to him at first glance, in other words, we've spoken about doing his baininess in this, right? Using your mind and thinking about this. However, you may not feel it. This is a true thing, it's a reality, and we are meditating in it. But it could rise up in your mind, but maybe you're making this up because it's not something that's springing naturally from you. You have to work at it. So it could rise up in your mind that it's an imaginary, it's a fiction. La yochash. Don't worry about that. Since in fact it is the truth of truths, mitzad atzmai on its own, and the fact that you don't feel it is because it's an ava which is concealed. It's concealed. It's meant for you to bring forth. It's meant to be, and it is concealed in you in order that you should do the avoida, right? The avoida of the mitzvah of coming to v'ahavtas Hashem Elokecha, to love God. It's hidden within you. The fact that you don't feel it is because you have to do something to feel it. But it's there. It's an ava misuteres. The Torah is telling you that. But it needs help in order to come to revelation. In order that it should come to deed. Now, this is an interesting idea. That the love isn't, even when you bring it to realization and you feel it, the end is not the feeling. The end is what you do with it. That you love somebody, that you love and express your love of Hashem and his mitzvahs by doing them. So the whole purpose of bringing it to Gila is interesting because, on the one hand, you could think, and I do even sometimes, that the kavanah is important in itself, which is a mistake. The kavanah is only important to the extent, once again and over again, that it brings you to deed. In order that the love that you bring to expression and to sensation and you feel about it should bring you to deed. What's deed? That you get busy, Isaac, like an askin, like one who's a businessman, you get busy with Torah and mitzvahs. That you learn and you fulfill as al yedei through this arousal of the love that you have previously deep inside of you. And you're doing this now. Why? Because he is your life, and you're giving thanks to the one who gives you life. And you're giving pleasure to Hashem. Like a child who serves his father for the sake of giving pleasure to Hashem. And on this it is said, it's a Maimer Chazal. Chazal say that a good thought Hashem adds to deed. The Esgadfin, because why? The deed without the kavanah, remember our mashal is like a bird without wings. These are now you've brought out the wings. Your mitzvahs are not only mitzvahs that you're doing because Hashem wanted you to do, but you're doing with a feeling. with a heart, and your mitzvahs are flying. Lias gadfin leporcha. Your mitzvahs are now flying, utilizing these wings, as said above. The hanachas ruachu, and Hashem gets pleasure from this. He gives him nachas ruach. The mashal simchas hamelach b'bnei, like the mashal of the joy that the king has from his son, when the son comes out of prison. So this is, I mean, he could have said a bunch of other things, right? And it's like the joy that a son gives to him when the son does what the father wants. But here is that Hashem is getting very happy that you've taken yourself out of the clippers, that you have done what you were created for, which is to bring light out of the darkness. And that's the mashal of coming out of prison. So this gives him a huge amount of pleasure, because this is his penimius intention in the first place for why we were created, to bring forth the light from the darkness, to come out of the prison, to come out of Mitzrayim. All of the Mesorim, all the limitations and boundaries that we're in, gives him great pleasure, because this is his original purpose in creating us, as we said above. Or he's getting pleasure, which is the corollary of this, the pleasure that he has in us coming out of our Mitzrayim. What are we doing? We're building the dwelling place for him down here below. Right? Nasas ruach lafana, because I'll say it gives nachas ruach. He gives a very great pleasure that he spake Omar, and we're doing what he said that is the purpose of our being down here in the first place, to fulfill his tainug, his pleasure, by creating a dirleis borbet Tanya. And now, even to the level that we said, my soul longs for you. Remember, we said, we didn't finish this pasuk. My soul longs for you in the night. Right? The night creates a longing. This is somewhat subtle, but maybe not so subtle. Gives a sense of, the perennial question: why did Hashem create the dark? Why did she create the evil? One of the answers is because there's an advantage, a strength of light which comes from darkness. Because the darkness creates the longing, the being distant creates the longing for connection. Nafshi abasicha, my soul longs for you in the night. And now, as I said above. And you should know, having said all this, that korav adavim ha'oid, this thing is very, very close to you. It's very possible. It's very real. And you are enabled by just being born with the soul that we're being born with, to take oneself out of the darkness, out of the concealment, and to bring oneself, or to take that love which is embedded within us, which is hidden within us, and bring it to revelation. Through, again, we talked about this yesterday, with continual habituation and making it a habit to bring this to consciousness in your mouth and your heart. However, even if you're not able to bring it to revelation, you don't feel it in your heart, nevertheless, you can still serve Hashem through Torah mitzvahs for His sake, by imagining, making a formation of this in your brain, in your thought, in your brain. And we said, the Chazal said, he doesn't finish it. I often wonder why he doesn't finish a lot of these. But the last word is Lamaisa. It's also a reminder, Chazal, a good thought Hashem adds to deed. And that is Tanya for 30th of Nisan. Okay. Thoughts? Comments? Gotcha.
I-
Go.
Oh,
Yes, so I know it's still part of chapter 44, but I really see it as, a continuation of yesterday I mean, I know it is anyway, but even more so, like we're talking about our Father.
Right.
And it's sort of like, it just feels, it feels like, of course we would want to do this for our Father. It's just like a continuation of what I'm saying, that it's the Father that we should have in mind to contemplate, to bring this love. This is a real relationship going on. This is like very personal. It's not.
Mm.
It's really, it's very intimate. Actually, that's how it's hitting me. I guess that's what I'm trying.
No, that's good. It's amazing. That's how it should be hitting us. It's very intimate.
It's very intimate.
Yep. It's
I-
essential. It's a very essential.
I'm sorry. I had another thought that it reminds me of, well, I mean, not only my own personal experience of going to the Koisel when I wasn't religious ages ago, and it's like the Koisel has something like, it just like brings something out of your heart, and when you see it for the very first time, and and you come there, and you just feel you want to do tshuva. But
Right.
also I forgot his name now, the rabbi that drove around Jerusalem in his old station wagon, and he'd find yeshiva boys at the Koisel, and and then he would drive them over to a yeshiva.
All right.
I forgot his name. You remember who I mean, though, right?
I don't know that, but that's okay. That's
Oh,
fine.
it's a famous person. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, but that's what it reminds me of, because you get connected to the Koisel, and you feel this bond to God, and you just want to do more. You want
Yeah.
to do.
Beautiful. Thank you. Rivka, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Consistent with the first comment,
Mhm.
I see where it says, all right, well, anyways, in English, the mouth and the heart, beshavim,
Shove it.
together, that there's a unity, this sense of unity,
Mhm.
which is within us. If we can find that sense of unity within ourselves, so that
Mhm.
then that's the channel to unity with Hashem, because
Mhm.
we're complete. It's
Mhm.
not just levavacha, nafshecha, it's also miadecha, it's with your whole self, and
Mhm.
that there's not this conflict, which of course the Tanya and the idea from the beginning, the Alter Rebbe is talking about the inner conflicts of people and how to resolve them. But I think this points very strongly to one method of
Yeah.
doing that. It's very
Yeah.
beautiful.
One method. The method is Mayach Shalat Ala Lev. That's the big, right? The whole frontispiece of time.
Because the mouth is also representative. Dibur is also an action. Speaking is also an action. So it's actually right. The
Okay.
unity. So, thank you.
All right. Any other comments before we move to the Bechain? Therefore, so what for today?
Try and be authentic. Be real. Make it
I
all.
like it. Very good. Very good. I like that.
Make it all.
I guess
Connect.
first you have to know what your authentic self is, which is what we've been talking, Nefesh Elokis is, etc. And the purpose for is being bound with an animal soul, right? That's who you are. To turn over the world, basically, through this godly power that can be overpowering and actually utilizing the animal and the materiality of everything. Know that you have that. That is you. and bring it forth. Bring it to consciousness, machshava, and then to dibur, and speak, and there should be no difference between what you're thinking and what you're speaking and what you're doing. And then you will be...
It's
you will
also
be-
bringing...
yeah.
You're bringing nachas, it's talking also earlier
Nachas
about
ruach.
two
Yeah.
different ways to bring nachas to Hashem. One,
Yeah.
to find that place of unity in yourself, that you're giving nachas, you're going out of whatever your Mitzrayim is. And that means that Hashem now has a dira b'tachtonim, more so.
Mhm.
It's
That's
from
right.
both directions.
Beautiful.
So you bring, like a
Anybody-
father, you're bringing nachas to your father.
Yep.
Like a ben and an eved, both.
Anybody else? So we have our marching orders. See you tomorrow. Yemir Hashem. Take care.
Chodesh Tov.